The Moors murderer Mara Hindley has confessed tonight to her part in the death of 2 children.
If you ever heard that tape where the little kiddies being from the tape, there's no doubt that's what it is. I tell you what, it really brings, it tugs at everything.
Behind bars, child killers often face brutal retribution from other inmates. Let's explore 5 shocking cases where convicted child killers encountered their ultimate punishment within the prison system.
It's quite clear that because that recording exists, we actually do glimpse Myra Hindley as a murderer, as a serial killer. We do get taken into the bedroom where Leslie Ann Downey has been stripped and is being tortured. And there is no doubt that Myra Hindley is taking a prominent role within that murder.
The case of Liam Dean. Liam Dean of Wakefield, UK, was far from a caring father. In July 2017, just days after the birth of his daughter Luna, he began resenting her cries for attention. His frustration escalated into violence. One night, while his partner Karen slept, Liam lost his temper when Luna wouldn't stop crying. He brutally assaulted the infant, inflicting severe brain and head injuries by shaking and squeezing her. The next morning, Karen found Luna unresponsive, and paramedics were called. Despite their efforts, Luna succumbed to her injuries days later. Liam fabricated a story, claiming Luna had fallen from her crib, but authorities quickly uncovered the truth. He was sentenced to life imprisonment in October 2017. However, prison justice caught up with him just a month later. His cellmate, John Westland, attacked him with a broken bottle, leaving him to bleed to death. Westland, convicted of Liam's murder, stated he despised him for harming an innocent child. He received an additional life sentence, with the judge condemning the brutality of the attack, but showing no sympathy for Liam's crime. Like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts on what happens to a child killer in prison.
Palma is accused of kidnapping and murdering his Midwest City neighbor Kirsten Hatfield in 1997. She was only 8 at the time. Her body was never found. Prosecutors also want to retest pieces of underwear that were found in her backyard.
Anthony Palma and the cold case of Kirsten Hatfield. The disappearance of 8-year-old Kirsten Hatfield in 1997 devastated her family and community in Midwest City, Oklahoma. She was abducted through her bedroom window, leaving behind only a few drops of blood and her underwear in the backyard. For nearly 2 decades, her case remained unsolved, plunging her family into despair. In 2015, DNA evidence linked Anthony Palma, a neighbor living just 2 doors away, to the crime. Palma had lived quietly in the neighborhood, evading suspicion. Convicted in 2017, he received life imprisonment without parole. Kirsten's family hoped he would reveal the location of her remains, but Palma never disclosed the truth. In January 2019, Palma's life ended violently in prison. His cellmate, Raymond Pilato, strangled and beat him to death. Palma's death left Kirsten's family in a complex state of relief and unresolved grief, as the answers they sought about her whereabouts were lost forever. Don't forget to hit that like button if you found this story shocking. The tragic fate of Sarah Payne and Roy Whiting.
How far away from her were you in your vehicle when you first saw her?
No comment.
What side of the road was she walking on?
No comment.
At what stage did you decide that you were going to take her?
No comment.
The disappearance of 8-year-old Sarah Payne in West Sussex, England, in 2000 shattered her family and community. Sarah vanished while playing near her grandparents' home, sparking a massive search effort. 16 days later, her body was discovered partially buried miles from where she was abducted. The post-mortem revealed she had been violently attacked, strangled, and suffocated. Suspicion fell on Roy Whiting, a known sex offender with a prior conviction for abducting and assaulting a 9-year-old girl. Initially released due to insufficient evidence, Whiting was later convicted in 2001 after fiber evidence linked him to Sarah. He was sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum of 40 years. Whiting's time in prison has been marked by relentless attacks from other inmates, including stabbings and beatings. His case also spurred significant legal reforms in the UK, including Sarah's Law, which allows parents to inquire if someone involved with their children has a history of sexual offenses. Despite his continued incarceration, Whiting remains a hated figure among inmates, living in constant fear. Christopher Edwards and the death of a toddler. In 2018, Christopher Edwards was convicted of the horrific murder of his girlfriend's 20-month-old child in North Carolina. The child suffered severe injuries inflicted by Edwards, who subjected him to extreme abuse before ultimately taking his life. Edwards was sentenced to life imprisonment without parole under the Heinous Violence Act. However, his prison sentence was cut short on May 1st, 2024. Edwards was found in a pool of blood with multiple stab wounds in the common area of Scotland Correctional Institution. Despite emergency responders' best efforts, he succumbed to his injuries. Investigators suspect that the attack was planned, reflecting the severe disdain inmates have for individuals convicted of crimes against children. Samaj Short's violent end.
A young girl could barely walk, went missing, only to be found dead inside her own home.
Her name is Majay Crosby.
A young mother's plea for help finding her missing toddler.
If anyone have any information or seen my baby, can you please, just please do right by my baby and by me?
For 30 hours, police, the public, and Samaj's own family searched Joliet Township. It was a search that ultimately led them back to the small, squalid rental home and this couch where the 17-month-old child was stuffed inside.
Samaj Short, a North Carolina man convicted of second-degree murder in the beating death of a toddler in 2017, also met a brutal fate behind bars. Serving an 11 to 15-year sentence, Short had been convicted of repeatedly assaulting the child, leading to the victim's untimely death. In December 2022, Short was attacked and killed by fellow inmates at Bertie Correctional Institution. His death highlighted the unwritten code among prisoners. Those who harm children are treated with utmost contempt. The violent retribution ensured Short would never see the light of day again. The complex reality of prison justice. These cases underscore a harsh truth. While the justice system may punish child killers with imprisonment, life behind bars often comes with additional consequences. Even among hardened criminals, harming children is considered an unforgivable crime. Many child killers face violent attacks, and for some, like Liam Dean, Anthony Palma, and Christopher Edwards, prison becomes a place where ultimate retribution is carried out. For the families of the victims, these deaths can evoke mixed emotions. On one hand, the perpetrators are no longer alive to haunt their memories. On the other, the opportunity to uncover unresolved truths, such as the location of Kirsten Hatfield's remains, is lost forever. These stories are a stark reminder of the lasting pain caused by unimaginable crimes and the dark realities of justice, both inside and outside the prison walls. What do you think? Is prison retribution justice served, or does it create more violence? Let us know in the comments and join us next time for more gripping stories that uncover the shadows of our society.